Welcome, welcome! It's Mud Dog with the TexasSpaceNavy bringing you another Star Citizen video. And today I thought we would rewind back to May 21st, 2017 to the very first two videos I did on YouTube. First two YouTube episodes here on the TexasSpaceNavy. As you can see, I had a different intro back then. I had some copywritten music for my intro, so there was no way that I was going to make money off of this video ever. Unless, of course, I make it off of the rewind here. But, yeah, I've intentionally taken away all the, I guess, all my voiceover from the original video here because, quite frankly, it's definitely dated. You could tell the things that I did not know what I was doing, Most of it, I didn't know what I was doing. A lot of fun to go back and actually listen and watch this video. You can definitely do that on my YouTube channel, but again, that video is not monetizable, so I'd rather you watch this one. But yeah, I had some issues trying to do all the recording, the editing, etc. Of course, I did everything in one take, which I tend to do anyways, because it's more realistic, it's more natural. But I was talking about the Vanduul Glaive in this particular episode. Back then, this was a ship not many people had or saw. I think it came out in 2015 at Gamescom, and only like 300 people could get it at that time. And then, of course, later on, closer to this time probably, or I guess a few months after this, this ship became a little bit more readily available to people. But you had to originally beat a Vanduul swarm in order to get this ship unlocked for you to purchase, and they only did like 300, like I said at the beginning. I was fortunate enough to be able to get in early and beat Vanduul Swarm. Back then it was semi-difficult to do solo, but you could do it with buddies and it wouldn't be so difficult to do. Honestly, I don't even remember what I was flying when I beat it. Probably a Super Hornet, most likely. But I do remember it was a lot of fun doing that. So you can see the different coloring here. This is what it still looks like for the most part. They haven't changed the model yet. We do know that there is a newer model that we will be getting at some point or another. This is definitely an extremely dated model. Like I said, you're looking at 6 years old on this modeling for this Vanduul Glaive, this Vanduul ship. Whereas now they look much more natural. They don't have all these jagged edges. They're much more smooth looking. Some people like the new one. Some people like the old one. Maybe you can tell me which one you like in the comments down below. Obviously, I don't have a picture of the new one in this particular video because that's a relatively new thing from like, a year and a half, 2 years ago. So yeah, this was the second Vanduul ship that was available in-game. The very first Vanduul ship was the Scythe. Now, there aren't huge differences between the two, at least weaponry-wise. This one came with two plasma rifles or cannons on the wingtips there, both size 5s. That is a massive gun for a fighter. And then it had a pair of size 1s underneath the nose. Now you can definitely tell there is a difference in the graphics quality back then to what you see now. It was definitely early stages back then, and I actually will bet in another 4 or 5 years we'll see another big jump in graphics quality as they get Vulcan in and all of that. So this ship and the Scythe had size 5 weapons on the wingtips, but the Scythe only has kind of like a half wing. See where both of these are large? The Scythe has one large and one small. The other one is just the gun. And the gun is a neutron gun. So it's got one neutron and one plasma, whereas this one has two plasma guns. This one also has 2 blades, whereas the Scythe, I believe, only has one. I could be wrong. It may have 2, but they have these little blades that were able to extend, and you could use it to kind of stab or slice through enemy ships. Part of the lore is that the Vanduul will use their ships to ram into their enemies and do massive damage to those ships, if not taking them out completely. The blades, I'm not sure work anymore. I don't even know if the new version of this ship will have extendable blades. I would be a little disappointed if it didn't. I mean, that was one of the cool things about this ship, is it had a really good ability of actually ramming into other ships and just doing that massive damage. Obviously, you wouldn't want to run nose on because that's where your cockpit is, but if you can clip them with a wing, you could do some damage. Nowadays, I think you just lose the wing. The blade isn't built into that ramming schematic or scheme if you try it. Now, you know, maybe you can go back out there and try to get those to work. And, you know, I honestly haven't been in my Glaive in a while to test it out to see if I can get those particular weapons, you know, set up to do that. So here you can see our first iteration of the PU. We're at Port Olisar, and you can see Crusader there in the distance. Crusader does not look like Crusader today. Now, Olisar looks very similar, just less graphically pretty. But yeah, you could. There's somebody in a, what's a Saber or Retaliator? I don't know. But you could definitely tell that there's been some graphical overhauls done to the game in just this little bit amount, these small amount of years. Now, what I used to do on these videos is I would do a hangar video first where I talked a little bit about the ship, and then the second video, the follow-up video, would be how the ship flew, top speeds, you know, how it fought, those sorts of things. So I have a lot of videos early on in my career here on YouTube that I split ships into two videos and kind of gave you two different looks at it. One in the hangar and then one in flight with combat. Now back here at this time, flying was quite a bit different. Quite a bit different than what it is now. You could see that there's really not much drift on this ship. You know, you turn and it turns fairly well and fairly quickly. That was not, you know, that's not the case now. Definitely things have changed. Now check out the Quantum here. It's definitely different. You know, I kind of like the way the Quantum looks here, to be honest. You know, I do like the new Quantum, but I kind of like the way that Quantum looked as well. That wasn't bad. So I'm jumping out to what looks like a Comstat, and this was a Defend Comstat mission. So, you know, somebody was trying to disable it, and we were going out to take them on. You can see the effects of the plasma cannons here. Kind of cool, that little effect coming out of the barrels. I am okay with that a little bit. I mean, it's kind of hokey being, you know, just you're in space and you see smoke coming out of the cannon. That probably is not going to happen. You could see the missile lock on was very quick. You know, you didn't shy away from firing missiles back then, but you could also hit targets a lot easier. Obviously, I'm not flying with a gimbaled setup here. They're fixed, and you just have to stay pretty close to the pip, and you're gonna get some hits. It's not perfect. Now you have a little bit of aim assist, which is honestly it's nice, but it's still not perfect now. I'm still not a huge fan of the flight mechanics for fixed weapons. It can be quite difficult, depending on the ship you have, to land those shots with a fixed weapon or with a fixed weapon loadout on your ship. There still needs to be some sort of happy medium worked out between the two, if you ask me. I mean, I really like the way ships flew back then. I like the way that you were able to get the fixed guns on target. But there are things today that are better than they were then. Anyways, guys, I hope you like this little run down memory lane. Let me know down in the comments down below. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed before. I do try to get these videos out on the daily, though this last month I have failed miserably at that. I do apologize. If you want to join my Patreon or YouTube members, That information is going to be in the description of this video. Please check it out. Also, if you want to join my org, it's Texas. Check that out in the description as well. And I have a bunch of org mates and stuff that do all sorts of Twitch videos and YouTube. Check them out as well. Thank you once again. I'm Mud Dog with the Texas Space Navy, and I'll see you out in the verse.